Yeah, I did one up here
on the
because I
bottom.
didn't think you were gonna move those. Yeah.
No, no, not for
Yay!
a while.
Some random 7 days to die while ranting.
Absolutely. So anyway, what I've been thinking about.
Oh, here. Since you said you were low on glass.
Oh, sweet, thanks. That'll help me with dying later. But no, what I was talking about, it's from watching Star Wars, and I've realized something.
Other than
We
that, doors have no
no,
consistency.
we other than this has nothing to do with doors. This is not the door rant. The thing we've talked about before, the Empire has this habit of building all these death pits with no railings and putting vital controls, example, in A New Hope, the tractor and controls are on the side of a pillar, on the backside over a death pit, off the catwalk with this little narrow, like 1 foot wide walkway. I figured out the no railing thing.
um, you there was an echo on my end because of how loud you were.
I'm sorry.
Okay, you figured it out.
Yes, it's ego.
Okay, why does ego
The,
have to go?
okay, the Empire thinks that they're the greatest out there. They can't do anything wrong. They're perfect. They're right.
The empire thinks that's the first.
Fairly. But so because of this ego, they have an attitude that it's not just the leadership, it's all of their troops, all of their people are perfect, can't do anything wrong, are great at their job. So nobody is going to be dumb enough or clumsy enough to fall off an edge of a catwalk with no railing.
Uh huh.
Now, I realize this wasn't just Star Wars. Here's where it crossed over. Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
elves, same thing. Long drops, no railing. Elves think they're better than everybody else. Dwarves, massive construction, underground, massive death pits into the depths of the earth. We see it in Moria and Erebor. No railing.
Yeah.
Dwarves think they're better than everybody else.
So you're
So,
saying it's an ego-based thing.
ego. We think we're perfect, so nobody's going to be that clumsy to fall off the edge of a catwalk. So we don't need railings, thereby saving money and resources.
Okay, I see it.
But then you see the problem because, of course, like in Star Wars, stormtroopers, how often do we see them fall off a catwalk or into a hole or a death pit
Every
or get pushed? And
every time we see the good guys.
you know how many deaths could have been avoided simply by installing railings? But no, we're too good for railings. And I'm sure there's probably other examples. I couldn't think of any off the top of my head. The two that stuck with you were Empire and Star Wars, elves and dwarves in Lord of the Rings. And I've been trying to think of other examples
What about
of
Klingon
no,
ships? I don't know much about Star Trek based.
I'm thinking, if I remember correctly, catwalks, death drops, Klingons still use railing.
Okay.
Um,
When we see,
I think there's some Mass Effect where there's big pits and no railings. I
um,
just can't think of any off the top of my head.
Vulcan with Spock and all those training pods. There's no railings on those.
Oh, and the training pod? That's not really a death, and they're sloped.
I'm not
So
saying.
if you fell in one, you just kind of roll down to the bottom, no real serious injury.
Yeah, but even then, there should be railing there.
You'd think so. You'd think so. Railings would be logical.
The thing that Vulcans think they are logical. Okay, I hear you're mining.
So yeah, it's
Okay, what to do?
and honestly, if you really think about it, with all of those, we see with all this other stuff too. I mean, in Star Wars, the whole thing. ego. I mean, some of it makes sense, like TIE fighters, no shields, no hyperdrive, no life support. If you really think about it, okay, part of it is a good old-fashioned cost-saving measure. For the same price as one X-wing, we can put out 4 or 5 TIE fighters.
True.
But if you actually consider the cost of training a pilot, getting the TIE fighter, training the pilot, every time a TIE fighter blows up, that's a dead pilot. But it's ego, because they think their pilots are good enough that they aren't going to die.
Well, when you have numbers against the Republic.
But the rebellion proved that with inferior technology and lesser numbers, we're still going to kick your ass. Because the rebellion doesn't have the ego. They know they aren't perfect.
Like the Empire does.
Right. And they know they can lose. I mean, they've lost quite a bit.
What the fuck? They were just stuck to technically one planet, and they were lucky that everybody else showed up in that last fight.
Well, and if you go all the way back, I mean, in A New Hope, they were based on Yavin. Before that, going back in the story, they were based on Dantooine, which is referenced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we found the remains of a rebel base on Dantooine. Our estimate is that it has been abandoned for some time. So every time they get discovered, like, okay, they were discovered on Yavin 4. So they moved and they set up on Hoth. And to build what they had, obviously they'd been on Hoth for some time. And then the Empire found them. So they left. After that, they don't have a fixed base anymore. They're fleet based.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and if you think about it, Return of the Jedi, the ego is evident, is very obvious. Your pitiful little band can't do anything. You're talking about the people that blew up your first Death Star, have evaded capture for like 5 years at least, and you're giving them zero credit whatsoever. You're basically calling them incompetent.
Do you mind?
And they've demonstrated that they aren't.
Do you mind if I make some cement for you?
Go ahead.
Finishing off that stack that you have.
That is fine. Cement is always good. And the reason I came down here to work in the basement was because I need stone to make cement.
You always need stone.
Yeah. But here I am using less stone in concrete than I'm mining, so net profit.
I would say I should go loot the other town, but that town's like a kilometer away. 2.5.
Oh, the one black book that I found?
Yeah.
That one north of us?
Yeah. That's the problem.
Could go west, head into the desert, see what you can find out there.
Well, I did find
We still have other traders to find.
a military base. I think I looted that. I don't know. Oh, that's what I said we were gonna do. We could do quests for Hugh, but it's nighttime. You leveled up.
God.
What?
Misplaced the block.
You do that a lot.
Not a lot, on occasion.
Well, that's a problem.
Hey, at least the reality is, nine. So many stone I get out of this. I get more stone than I use making it, so.
I have no 7 days audio.
Oh, that's a problem. There we go. One
I'm gonna
hit.
restart my 7 days.
You do that.
The problem is that I'm gonna have to disable my 7 days video when I decide to re-enter. You wanna know how I noticed?
Oh, how's that?
No footsteps. And no audio through
Well,
OBS.
that would explain it because no footsteps, and we know you aren't a ninja.
Yet.
Yet.
Sorry guys, I am removing video for a second. For privacy reasons. Like I said, for a second. Hey, I'm 11 minutes into my recording. I just hope I don't accidentally fill up my hard drive with a hopefully not a 5-hour stream. Hey, if it happens to be a 5-hour stream, it's a 5-hour stream.
If it happens, it happens. And then you can just, have the joy of editing it and cutting it down. And
Remember, we're splitting it up once in a while.
assuming we remember.
Oh, I will. Hey, I have audio.
Hey, audio's a good thing. Party.
Hey, there we go. That's much better.
Can you hear now?
Yes, I hear my footsteps in the grass.
You put your ears on?
Yep, I turned on my ears. I'm gonna find out what's west of us. Oh yeah, bike. I forgot I had a bike.
Oh yeah, I did make you one of those. I forgot about that too.
You started a rant about movie stuff.
Sometimes.
I have a rant about games not working properly.
Games not working properly.
We are at a stage of games should now not have to worry about crashing just because you're playing the game. I'm not talking about Fallout or Skyrim. Those are kind of old. I'm talking about newer games. Doom Eternal.
Okay.
Why is it that I go and try to launch Doom Eternal normally, fresh install and verified files, and it won't start? But it's holy fucking iron. 5 patches, 5 geodes on top.
Yeah. If you actually looked around our base, we have a lot of deposits.
Yes, but this one I'm marking down. But back onto my rant. The fact that we are at a stage of games where 90% of games that are not big companies like Bethesda or 2K, Gearbox, or anything else, they run almost perfectly.
Right.
But then you get new games like Doom Eternal, where you have to have the newest driver for everything, just for it to even start. Or what about the Fallout update?
So you're talking basically AAA games.
Yeah. Call of Duty, Doom, Fallout, Skyrim. Oh, I can't really say Skyrim. I don't think that can be deemed AAA anymore.
It was a AAA game when it came out.
Yeah, but look at the update that happened yesterday for Fallout. A bunch of problems. Other than the fact it messed up the PC modding community.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna give you your solution. Part of your problem with some of these games is you're playing them on PC.
Yeah.
which, I'm not faulting because I played like half my games on PC. But the reality of some of those games, like Skyrim, Fallout, they were originally designed for console.
They run worse on console.
Do they?
Yeah. They with this new next gen release, they finally made it native for PS5 and
Right, but okay,
Xbox.
let's think of this. Fallout 4,
Yep.
originally made for
PC
the X. Fallout 4?
was PC.
You sure it wasn't a PC port? Effectively, and it
Um,
might have been co-designed or basically co-developed for PC. But if you really think about it, it was designed for the Xbox
um,
One.
give me a second. I need to look up a date so I'm not sounding like an ass. Fallout 4 was released 2015. Okay, so Fallout 4 did come out 2 years. The reason why I say it was designed for PC because they came out with a bundle for PC when it came out, the nuclear bundle.
Right. But when you consider, okay, if you look at the original, what was it released on first? I mean, I'm making an assumption here because the previous Fallouts were console and then ported to PC. So I'm thinking Fallout 4 may have been actually developed for console. Was their initial development?
No, it was all three at the same time.
Which they might have gone off of and I'm assuming here, started their console development first, and then started their PC. That's my thing because they were originally console games.
Yeah,
The franchise was console, so making them for PC was kind of secondary.
it's all games nowadays. But if you think about why does it run better on PC? It's more stable on PC.
Because the truth of the matter is, when it really comes down to it, is PCs actually are more powerful, and the technology. The reality of it is the PC technology changes less in the course of a year or two, or 5 years, or whatever the lifespan of a console is, than console tech changes. And you look at the difference between the Xbox One and the Xbox 360. The difference in technology is massive.
Not as massive as it could have been though.
Look at a PC from the same time period.
Not even.
The actual change in
4
technology,
years.
the actual change in technology is less. Consider me. I just updated my computer so I could run newest games. But I've been running pretty much every game, including a lot of newer games, on a 10-year-old computer.
Yes, but you were using a TI model of graphics card.
It was still like my graphics card was still like at least 5 years old, and I was running newer games, not the newest games, but newer games on max graphics, everything turned up, and they ran with no problem.
Like I said, because you're using a TI model. Those have a longer lifespan than a normal.
Versus console, where when your console is obsolete in 5 years because they've released the next gen,
Well, the only
your
reason why
console is obsolete
the only reason why
for a new game.
they do that is because of the whole developers will only update. They will go straight to the new version instead of upgrading it, making two copies of it.
Right. I actually found out the whole with the Xbox Series X digital only. I found out why they're doing it when they already had the Series S, which was digital only, because the Series X is actually more powerful than the Series S. So they want to give the Series X power to the digital only games.
Yeah, because they put better parts into it. But if you look at
which honestly, still, in my opinion, makes no sense because the original Series X, if you think about it, can do everything that all the digital only stuff. The only real difference is you can put your game discs in. So why they need to make a digital only Series X still makes no sense.
it's because people don't want to deal with having to buy a complete disc and only using it 3 times and have it just collect dust. It's because of the laziness of, I hate to say it, the laziness of console players
It's a cash grab.
or modern console players.
There is no price difference between
Yes, there is.
this.
New one, there is a with new games there is a price difference.
For the console.
Yeah.
So you're saying that the digital only Series X is cheaper than the original
I'm
Series
saying
X.
the game copies.
I'm not talking about the games. I'm talking about the console itself.
I don't think there's a price difference. No,
Exactly.
I was talking about the difference between.
Right, but no, there's my point. Why not just say, okay, you know what? You want this upgraded power? Go buy a Series X. We don't need to make a new console, and we're going to take the disc capability out, but we're leaving it the same price. If it was cheaper because they're putting less hardware in it, that would make sense, but they aren't.
No, the reason why they're doing it is because digital copies of games are cheaper, so people are gonna go with that instead. Because I don't want to spend the extra $10 for a piece of plastic that gives you the right.
Right, and no, I understand the price of games. It's the console itself that makes no sense to me. We're going to make the exact same console, remove one piece of capability from it, but charge the exact same price.
You're gonna like what I found. I found a cracker book, and I've already found 5 Forja heads.
Well, that'll be good, since we need... I will...
Another 40.
40? It is 35, actually.
Okay, I was roughballing it there.
But still, we need another 35 of those so we can make the crucibles, so we can make steel.
My problem is, why is there multiple models of the Xbox? Why don't you just have one model, like they do?
Right. I know. I'll agree with that too. Honestly, why didn't they just make the Series X? People want to play digital only. Fine, you just don't use the disc slot. Especially when you consider that the Series S and the Series X had the same price point. Which to me makes no sense at all.
No, what makes no sense to me is, look at computer parts. Why is there 7 different versions of one graphics card? I understand like different companies. No, why is there a 4050, a 4060, a 4060 Ti, a 4080, a 4070, 4070?
Now, the difference between, for example, a 4060, a 4070, a 4080.
I understand
That makes sense to me.
Why do you now have a Ti version?
Right. Why do I need my 4070 and the 4070 Ti and a 4070 MX and...
The 3 that there are is a 4070, 4070 Ti, and a 4070 Super. Why do
Right.
you need that?
Why do we need to have a 4070 base model, a Ti, an MX, a UD, an ASS, a QR? Why do we need to have 30 different versions of the exact same part?
Oh, and why are they such massive differences in
Price point?
price points? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You look at a Founders Edition 4090, which is the NVIDIA version, then you look at the AMD Strix, and the Strix is almost $3,000. I'm wondering, why is it spending $3,000 for
Why
like
is it?
$100 of material?
Why is it if I buy a 4070, it's going to run me $600, but if I want the Ti, it's going to run me 800, and
Nope.
then if I want,
The Ti is now 600. The normal model is 550, and the uh, Super is 550, and is more powerful than the Ti. Why is that cheaper?
you know, why this goes for any new video card. If I'm going to buy the base model, I'm going to spend like $600-700. But if I want, the Ti or the Super model, it's going to cost me $2,000. That's my question: is why is there suddenly $1,000 difference between models?
For a 3% increase.
If even.
Now, the difference between a 4070 and a 4070 Super, that's like a 20% increase for the same price point.
So a 20% increase, I could see a 50% cost difference. So let's just say that our base model is $500 with X performance. And then our Super is 20% better performance, so we're going to price it at $750. Not 3 times the price.
I said that they're the same price. So what?
Well, no, initially, typically. The typical is you have a base model, say, for 500, and then you have the Super model at, at 1,500.
When at the same price point, you could go and decide to get 4090 instead.
Right, which has the same performance as the 4070 Super. And for argument's sake, this is as usual, numbers out my ass. But it's just to get the point across.
It's just, I forgot to split my recording.